Coming to you from 8122 Production Studios in the heart of the 607, this is Horror Zone 607. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And remember, you can always join the conversation using hashtag HZ607. Welcome to Horror Zone 607, the podcast where we talk all things horror and bring you the week's biggest horror movie news. I'm your host, Mike C., and boy, do we have a big week in store for you guys this week. We have got all kinds of things to talk about, ton of news, some great interviews. This past week, the guys and I actually went to, as we've been plugging all along for months here, the Sci-Fi Horror Fest in Oneonta, New York. We got some great interviews with the celebrities that were there. But before we get to any of that, we've got some important people that we've got to introduce you to this week. Of course, with me as always is the man who always has his pudding, even if he doesn't eat his meat. Please say hello to Rich.
That's right. Dessert before food. That's the way to go. I mean, I assume the president of this country would agree with me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Well,
but
Pink Floyd was wrong. Pink Floyd was wrong.
Of course. And so
you're proof of that.
And unfortunately, I'm going to tell the kids that are listening possibly this. Your parents are wrong too.
Yes.
Go ahead and eat dessert first. Why not?
I do it all the time.
That's the best part about being an adult. If you ever want to know what the best part about being an adult and living on your own is, you can eat dessert before you eat
Sometimes
dinner.
I'll eat ice cream and then I'll have like a steak dinner.
That's right.
You gotta buck the system.
Best part about being an adult.
Why don't you just eat the ice cream and say screw the steak dinner?
I've done that. I've done that.
Even better.
Well, that brings us right to the next thing. We actually have another great friend back in the studio this week. He's not always here, and it's always a great pleasure to have him in the studio. Everybody say hello to Ron.
What's happening?
All right, so what did you guys think of Sci-Fi Horror Fest? What a good time, right?
Lots of fun. We had amazing amounts of good stories. I felt like for us, it was a good time. It was successful. We didn't die in the cabin in the woods, so we survived
Almost.
there.
Derek swears that there was somebody walking around.
I got to point this out. I'm gonna repeat a joke, but I don't care. We kicked the hell out of those hillbilly zombies' asses. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen Cabin in the Woods, then you know what I'm talking about. But that means I'm greater than Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, absolutely.
I am greater than Thor because he did not survive Cabin in the Woods.
No, he rode his motorcycle right into a grid.
I did.
Yeah. Right into the wall.
So I'm greater than Thor. Just throwing it out there. Anyways,
I would trust you more.
We had a good time. We were talking about it on the Three Fat Nerds. We had a great time. Lots of fond memories. I loved our free breakfast at the Hampton Inn.
Oh, that was
when
fun.
we arrived. Then of course we got to spend some time with Courtney Gaines at the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we did.
And then we got to
How many people can say that they took Courtney Gaines to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Just two of us in this room because that's the only time he's ever been there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he'll ever be back because at $25 a ticket is a steep price, folks. And how many people could say that Courtney Gaines bought them Chinese food? Ron!
Yeah, Ron.
I can.
Yeah.
Ron got free Chinese food.
I got Chinese food from Courtney Gaines.
Yeah, so we took Courtney out. He wanted some Chinese food, and I was asked to bring him up there. And Ron happened to just be, walking with us at that time. I was like, "You want to go?" He's like, "Oh yeah, Chinese food, absolutely."
Sure, let's go.
And I chose to get a delicious ice cold water, but you got some food, and he bought you dinner. He bought you Chinese food. It's been the running joke for about a week now. Well, not a week, but
since the weekend, and it's going to be
the weekend.
It's going to go on my tombstone.
I was going to absolutely. You already said that. We've come up with this. It's going to be Here Lies, the devoted godfather and friend, and one time Courtney Gaines bought him Chinese food.
Absolutely.
Ron.
I like
Anyways, the other things, because of course there's other things. Of course, you're going to hear from Courtney Gaines because that's one of the interviews.
Absolutely.
That's actually the one that's loaded up first, so you guys will hear that first. But we also got to meet Jill Whitlow, which you'll hear that interview later. She was a sweetheart of a human being.
She was amazing. So fun.
And her manager was a lot of fun, too. So hopefully he's listening because I did invite him on the show.
Yeah.
And he kind of was like, well, I'm not a celebrity. I'm like, you can still come on and talk about horror.
Love to have you on the show, man.
Just come on and talk about horror.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot.
What else did we have there? I mean,
Well, we had one of the
course, you
nicest
wouldn't-
people that I have met, that celebrity-wise, maybe the nicest celebrity of them all, Dustin Pari from Ghost Hunters.
once again,
And
that's
Ghost Hunters
another
International.
interview you'll hear later in this episode. Absolutely,
Yeah.
because we got
He was
an
right
interview with
next
him.
to us.
He was awesome. He's a great guy. Got to talk to him all weekend. I can also report that Mike would not go near The Exorcist.
Nope. Thank God he was on the other side of the building.
He said he didn't want to touch him, nothing, because he was scared something would rub off on him.
Yep. He was actually in the auditorium when I walked in at one point. I turned right around and walked back out. True story.
Oh man, there's a bunch of great stuff. Shout outs to both me and Ron got our hair cut by Sweeney Todd.
Yes, we did.
Has it grown back yet?
But you know what? The cool part is that's become a tradition. We had it done last year. We had it done this year. So I think that's just our tradition for the con. Also, Freestyles Confections was there, giving them sweet treats out. Those were good.
Yeah, they gave away cookies at the end that they had left over. My God.
Well,
So good.
Trust me, I was a little upset if you're listening to this that you did not have the raspberry bars this year.
No.
a little upset about that. Or the apple pies. I didn't see those either.
They had apple crumb.
Oh, that out.
Which
Was that
one?
good too?
Oh, it
I'll
was.
tell you what, the
I didn't
cookie was
try
good
that.
enough for me.
And they also didn't. But everything I tried from them was great. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not complaining, guys. Don't think that you're still our MVP. There was some things that you had the first year that I was missing, because that raspberry bar was a treat the first year.
Yeah.
Also, Len Oddity. Man, he was
Oh,
tearing the
man.
house down. He was commanding the audiences.
That guy
with
had
his
an
sideshow.
audience.
Yeah,
Jeez.
We even paid for Mike to spin the wheel and staple something on him. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I
Mike's
felt
bad
squeamish
luck.
about that.
Mike's bad luck just got him the arm for $5. He overpaid for the arm.
I didn't pay for anything. Derek did it.
Right, but Derek overpaid.
overpaid.
Yeah, because the arm only usually costs $1.
Yeah, that's exactly what Len said to me. He goes, "You just overpaid." I was like, "I didn't pay a thing." So
Yeah, we were hoping that you would land on scrotum.
that
I
wouldn't
was-
have happened. I just wouldn't have
I
been
was-
able to
I
do it.
was
I would
in
have given
for
the
it.
staple gun to somebody else. 'Cause
I was
there was
in for
no
it.
way.
I was waiting for it. Or
No
dealer's
way.
choice. Dealer's choice is always a good one, you know. But it was not in the cards that night.
Spin
Mike's
the
luck
wheel,
was not
make the
there.
deal.
That's right.
The gauntlet fist match. That would have been great.
Coal miner's glove.
Coal miner's glove. That's the one. Coal miner's
We did
glove.
a
That's
good
what I was going
podcast-
for.
We did a good podcast panel. You know. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was fun. We had a makeshift horror panel just because things. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
But it was makeshift. It was a lot of fun. We got to hang out, with a lot of people. So
Yeah.
next year, it's already been announced. Next year, October 24th and 25th in Oneonta, New York. So that's October 24th and 25th, 2020. Sorry.
Yes.
Because I know 24th and 25th isn't here. We just got done with it. It's not.
We're not going
we're
back.
We're not in a 3-week turnaround. So next year, the 24th and 25th of October 2020, we will be back in Oneonta, New York at the Oneonta Foothills Performing Arts Center for yet another Sci-Fi Horror Fest.
And I just want to say, I'm not giving a thing away here, but trust me, if things play out the way that there's rumors, there's going to be some awesome
we
guests
can't-
there.
We can't talk about anything that the ink is not dried on the contract yet.
So I'm not
but-
going to say what it is, but the rumor, pretty cool stuff. Well, hopefully that we can announce over the next year.
There's a super big rumor that it's pretty. I mean, until the ink's on the contract is pretty cool.
Right.
And
So
that's,
we're not going to
that's,
say.
that's something that I know is kind of going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
That it has nothing to do with celebrities, but unfortunately we can't go into that. But
Yeah, I was going to say there's something else cool that we were talking about, and that's that. Let's just say you want to get there next year. For those of you that didn't make it this year and you're listening to the show, you're going to want to go.
Yeah.
And those of you that were there, you're going to want to go back. It's going to be an awesome show next year.
Well, I guess I gave the good news on Three Fat Nerds before we give it out. I guess I'll give the good news here. Starting next year, I will be the event manager for Sci-Fi Horror Fest.
Nice.
That was a position that was offered, so I am taking it. It's going to be a good time, so hopefully we can take it to the next level. I got a lot of things going on. But we still have Scaricon to come. So
Yeah, we do.
With that being said, though, I think we should give these guys an interview. Let's give them an interview. And I already
Yeah.
kind of let the cat out of the bag. We're going to go with Courtney Gaines. This is one of my favorite. Mind you, all of these interviews were great. I
Yeah,
love
they
these
all turn
interviews.
out really well.
It's like when you have children and they all turn out good, and you don't have that one child you can just shove in the corner somewhere. You know what I'm talking about, parents. You'll understand. I only have one kid, so he's kind of forced to be the good and the bad kid. But
He's a good egg.
He is a good kid. And then Ron threw him out on the floor to Len Oddity.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
I threw
Literally.
him. I threw him to the wolves.
Uncle Ron threw him to the wolves, and then he paid $20 for him to hit a clown with a pan.
Yeah,
Yep. That happened.
So that's a
And
real thing.
unfortunately-
And there's video footage of this.
And he unfortunately hits like a girl, and I'm sorry about that, Rich. You got to step it
Well,
up.
I'm sorry about that to Len Oddity because he got hit like a girl. And he did sign the pan, though. My kid was excited about that. He's just too nice of a kid. I think he felt bad for hitting Len because, he had met Len and knows Len. I think that's really what the problem, because he's just too nice of a kid. But Len said, "Hit me hard." So hit them hard.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, so before we get to the interview, though, I just want to say, everybody stick around. Again, we're going to actually be putting 3 of these interviews in here, as you mentioned. So Courtney Gaines, Jill Whitlow, and Dustin Pari are all going to be on the show this week. So make sure you guys stick around and listen to all these great interviews that we have. But, we are going to definitely be doing our normal stuff, too. We're going to be back giving you news and playing music for you and
we're
doing
gonna
all the
have
fun
news.
stuff.
We got the news and everything coming up. I do want to say, before we do this, that this interview touches a heart in me because he makes fun of Mike C for the most part of this interview.
Yeah, he did. He
It's
certainly
amazing.
did.
So you're going to get to hear some inside stories that have nothing to do with horror.
Nothing at all.
But it's a lot
It
of
was
fun.
our own horror.
I was going to say, in this interview with Courtney Gaines, you will hear some about the Baseball Hall of Fame. You will hear some about driving. You will hear some about just things we were doing. And then, of course, you will also hear about Candy Corn, the new movie he's got out now. So go ahead and look that up on VOD. It looks like I haven't watched it yet, but I cannot wait to see it. And with that being said, here's our Horror Zone 607 interview with the great, the wonderful, and the very funny Courtney Gaines.
All right, fans, we are sitting here at Sci-Fi Horror Fest Day 2, and we have a very special guest.
Who's that?
Of course, he just started. It's Courtney Gaines from Children of the Corn.
Gaines!
From Children of the Corn. Everything.
Wow.
Actually, he's returning to the show. This is the second appearance by him. I feel blessed.
That's right. The first one was horrible, so I thought I'd try to get this one right.
I don't know. The first one I have fond memories of.
Well,
But
it's good for you, I guess.
but you know what? Instead of just
had to
talking,
enjoy it.
I was gonna say, instead of just talking here, we've had a great time with Mr. Courtney Gaines
What,
all
trying
weekend.
to get me killed on the way to Cooperstown? What are you talking about?
Yes, we spent yesterday morning in Cooperstown with Courtney at the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and Mike C.
Yeah,
tried to kill him multiple times.
Mike almost got me killed, but a truck swung into our lane and almost hit our ass on the way there.
Yeah, and then I almost ran over a 2-year-old.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I think her brother.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
May have been 3, 4. I don't know. It was close.
It's been
Parents gave me quite the look.
It's been hairy being in a car with you, Mike. It's been really hairy, man.
And then of course, the parents shot you a very evil look.
Yeah, they didn't like me very much.
No,
They didn't
no.
like me.
Well,
It's okay.
they just like me. I've gotten to know you. I don't like you too much either.
Exactly.
So that's okay.
Exactly.
and then of course last night you guys had Chinese food.
Right. That was an interesting. He was going back to his college days. Thinking he was out clubbing or some shit. I don't know.
We did break down some Chinese food and fortune cookies and about having a farm in Nantucket.
That's right. We all want to retire at a farm in Nantucket. That's our personal goals now.
Well, now that we got the fun stuff out of the way. Well, it's still fun stuff. Trust me, it's still going to be fun stuff.
Oh, no.
We have you here. We have to talk about your movie that is just coming out.
Oh, right.
Candy Corn.
Candy Corn.
Go ahead.
Well, kind of interesting, right? You got me from, Children of the Corn, and then you got Tony Todd from, Candyman. You combine it together and you get Candy Corn, apparently. So
That's actually pretty impressive way to look at it.
it's deep, man. It's deep.
It is. So what is your role you play in this movie?
I play Sheriff Sam Bramford.
Yes, and are you the good sheriff, or are you the asshole sheriff that we can't wait to see killed?
For a change, I'm a good sheriff, right? You would think I'd be the asshole sheriff, right? I agree.
Well, no, you know, there's always that trope in horror movies. There's
Yes.
usually that one character that everybody wants to see get killed, no matter if you're rooting for the villain or not.
Nobody wanted to see me get killed.
All right.
I was a nice guy.
So how was it working on the movie? Where did you guys shoot?
We shot in Ohio twice and
we're having our
California
picture taken,
twice. The project ended up being done over a little independent film deal over a 3-year period. Crowdfunding beginning, first round, and then got a little funding together to shoot in Ohio in the fall, and that got us enough shot. Then we could go after investors and get the rest of the money and finish it. So it was a bit of a long process.
So with everything going on, it did hit a couple snags that we heard to get created. Like, did that really hinder the process?
It's just, you'd rather just shoot it all in one shebang and get done, sort of having to hold on to a character for that period of time, kind of get back into the swing again. It's just not the easiest way to go, but I thought the movie was worth getting done, so I started out just as an actor and came on as a producer and helped do what I could to help get it done. So, it's nice to it's nice to, it's not easy even making a movie, but then finding distribution is not easy either,
right.
especially for little independent films. So, Epic and Dread picked it up, and they were willing to put it out this year, which is for this October, which was great. So, it's out now,
Nice.
so it's out in the world doing its thing.
Awesome. So when you're looking at this finished product, we've seen the trailer. I can't wait to see the actual movie.
Yeah.
But we've seen the trailer. It's kind of got that like funhouse carnival kind of like look to it.
Well, it's definitely like 80s throwback all the way. It's like definitely an homage to 80s. That's why there's me and Tony Todd's doing a cameo on PJ Souls. 80s iconic actors, as it were. And then we got Pancho Moeller, from the Rob Zombie's Three from Hell, and the vehicle is really written for Pancho, and he plays this character Dr. Death. He runs the carnival, and it's a wonderful little tour de force for him. He's getting really good reviews, and rightly so. And in theory, this could be a good, if it does all right, it could be a good spin-off thing. He could just go town to town causing hell for 20 movies if he wanted.
That's actually a good thing nowadays, getting a franchise.
Yeah,
even if it started out small.
If it does well enough to get to that point, it has the potential all over it, and his Dr. Death character, he could have a lot of fun with for a long time. So
Nice, that's awesome.
Right on. And so, are you working on anything right now, or just hanging out and taking your time?
Well, this time of year is always Convention City, right? So here we are doing the rounds. I just finished a movie out near Atlanta called Charming the Hearts of Men. That's a drama about the woman who was involved in getting it takes place in the late 60s, about civil rights, the civil rights movement, but getting the word woman put in the civil rights bill. She's actually the catalyst to make that happen. So it's kind of a cool story, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's always great to talk to you. It's always fun to hang out with you. I don't want to keep you too long because we have to beat down these hordes of people.
I got lines of people waiting for me to sign up, but we can talk for a little while longer.
Okay.
I'm here all day, man.
Mike, ask Courtney a question.
Mike, come up with a question, man.
You tried to kill Courtney.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to kill me. At least you can just come with a good question, for Christ's sake.
I'm afraid to say anything or come near you at this point.
You should be. You should. I'm afraid of it too.
Go ahead. Ask him.
I mean, a guy who wears a Cubs hat who's a Yankees fan. I don't get it, bro.
So the Cubs are my second favorite team. Yankees won last night.
Yes, they did.
So,
and you were saying they were sucking when we were getting Chinese food, but they turned it around.
They turned it around and they ended up winning.
That's
10-4.
right.
So,
ye of little faith.
I know. What'd you think of Cooperstown?
It was really a cool and pleasant thing to get to go do. I was didn't realize where we were here that it was so close to Cooperstown. So it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. So it was really cool to get to go. But I gotta say, I thought some of the displays were just weird. It was just you just would have here's a no hitter ball over here. Here's a bat from something. Sometimes it just didn't make sense. I wanted all the no hitter balls to be in one shrine because
it would have made sense.
Well, to me in baseball, I think that is, other than winning a championship, is the holy grail. The most impossible task, right? So those dudes should have their own shrine within the shrine, in my opinion. And they're just kind of scattered all over.
Right. I mean, we had the one display ahead. I think Mariano Rivera's hat from his 652nd save in there with a bat that Glenn Hubbard wore or used or something like that.
It seemed at times like that. It seemed a little random.
Yeah, there was definitely the Mariano hat, and there was the bat from the guy who hit the first DH. He was the first DH batter.
I kind of get it.
They were both on the
Yankees.
Random. I was going to say they were both on the Yankees, and then there was the one that had the sticker in there. It had the bumper sticker about no DH on top of it.
Right.
So it was weird stuff.
So it was a whole relief pitchers and DH display. I
was telling somebody, I thought the funny part was when we went around and looked, and they had the Barry Bonds helmet from the 756 home run, and then the hat of the pitcher who threw it, and we're like, wow, that's how he got in the Hall of Fame. But it was a little display, and it wasn't really...
why is that guy's... Yeah, exactly. It was a very little display. And then, why is the guy he gave the pitch up getting there? I don't get it. But and then, of course, we of course talked about it a bunch. Of course, Pete Rose is he's banned from the Hall of Fame. So they had to give him a little display because, of course, he's the all-time home run hitter.
All-time hits.
But it was, all-time hits. I'm sorry, I said home run. All-time hits. But like, it was like such a little display. Like I mean, the guy deserves more than that.
It was a pair of cleats and a bat.
Yeah, it was kind of lame for what the man has accomplished.
Not to mention, they have other people in the Hall of Fame who did far worse than Pete Rose.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I guess, gambling, they see that as a big deal. But, like I said, we talked about before, he always bet on his own team to win, so that's okay with me.
I was going to say, it gives him incentive to win that game. Who wants to lose that money?
Exactly.
On top of that, we found out from the tour guy, we were briefly on the tour before we split it off because we don't have the attention span to be on a tour.
Yes, of a gnat, yes.
Right, yes. But we briefly learned from the tour guy, Mike was putting more money in the parking unit because we were there for over 2 hours.
I think I put like 6 more hours in there or something like that.
$60 on parking.
Yeah, it was something like that. We were there for another half hour.
Yeah.
So basically, while we were sitting there, the guy said that there's only 2 people who have ever been blacklisted from the Hall of Fame. It's Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. So they really hate gambling.
Right. And both gambling, exactly.
They really hate gambling. Even the steroid guys aren't blacklisted. They're just not getting voted in.
No, you can do drugs. Just don't gamble.
Right. Don't gamble. Don't throw a World Series. Don't gamble.
Right. Exactly. And why aren't the rest of the guys that helped throw those games banned? Why is it only Shoeless Joe Jackson? Why is that?
I don't know. We should have really put it to the tour guide. We really should have asked these questions and just made them answer.
That's right.
You're a representative of Cooperstown. You're a representative of the Baseball Hall of Fame. We want answers.
That's right.
We want answers.
I still think they should have let us into the archives.
I think so. They didn't have the bloody sock either.
They had the shoes, but no sock.
They had a sign for it.
That was like that was one of the main things I came to see was the bloody sock.
They had a sign for it,
and I was disappointed by that.
I almost wanted to call and pretend I was your agent and be like, my client was there, and he was very
Courtney
disappointed.
Gaines
he was
came to see the sock.
He was very very disappointed.
Because I throw that kind of weight around in Cooperstown, they would have taken me down there and
absolutely
thrown the sock in my face. Here you go.
You want a sock? Here's your sock.
Here's your sock.
Well, today we have a day with you. We are also doing a panel with you later.
Oh, you guys are part of that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go refuse. Well, I didn't realize you guys were part of it.
This is going to be a makeup. Last year, when I did an interview with you, we were supposed to do an introduction portion to Children of the Corn, and then they bumped us.
Right.
And we both felt slighted.
That's right.
We were all prepared for that. We were having a great time, and next thing you know, we felt slighted.
Well, let's hope this one goes better then, for Christ's sake.
Yes, we better hope so. So with that, I am going to say thank you once again for stopping and chatting with us. We always love having you on. It was an amazing time hanging out with you this weekend. You're definitely a highlight of my weekend.
Well, thank you. It's been a real drag.
All right. Thank you, Courtney.
Take care, Courtney.
All right. That was one hell of an interview with our good friend Courtney Gaines. Second year in a row, Courtney Gaines has been on our program because obviously we are pretty much at the year anniversary of Horror Zone 607. He was on our second ever episode, and here he is again. We are very fortunate that he remembered us, and he's actually a really awesome human being. Yeah. We love good Courtney Gaines. But here's a little bit of business before we take our break. Of course, if you want to talk about anything we talk about, you want to talk about the interviews we did, any news we talk about, or anything you would like us to talk about, it's easy. Hit us up on our social medias. We are on Facebook, Horror Zone 607. We are on Twitter at Horror Zone 607. For all of the social media accounts to join our conversation, use the hashtag HZ607. And we are going to take a brief break. And when we come back, we are going to be doing some horror news. So we'll be right back on Horror Zone 607.
Hey, it's Courtney Gaines, Malachi from Children of the Corn. You're listening to Horror Zone 607.
Nothing grows, salted earth, a reaping
And welcome back to The Zone. So at this point in the show, we are going to do what we normally kick off the show with, and that's talk a whole lot of horror movie news. We got some cool things to talk about this week. None bigger than the brand new movie Joker that hit theaters this week. I know you guys have seen the movie. I have not yet. But, we'll get your take on that in a second. But, boy, did it have a massive opening. The biggest opening ever for a movie in October.
Yeah, $93 million.
$93.5 million here in the States, $234 million worldwide. Huge.
Yeah, pretty big opening. We kind of gave a spoiler-free version of our take on the Three Fat Nerds podcast this week. You can check that out anywhere podcasts are found. Real quick, though, without going too in-depth, because we have a bunch of stuff to talk about in this show, I dug the movie. It was good. I didn't give it the super high rating. I was in the middle of the road with it. Ron was kind of Ron, I feel like, is directly in the middle of the road. Like, out of 10, because Horror Zone, we don't do the Three Fat Nerds thing. So out of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10, and I would put you at like a 5 out of 10. Yeah. And I didn't dig the political stuff, but I will say this: it was one of the most amazing performances by an actor I've ever seen from Joaquin Phoenix. If he doesn't win the Oscar for this, I don't know. It was amazing. I thought he was, and that's why I rated it higher. The story itself was a good story. There was some holes, what you expect in any movie. I could have done. I'm not a very political person, as you know, and I could have done without the politics. But with that being said, the performance was amazing. Like, that carried the movie without anything.
Yeah, it was an all right movie. I mean, I like I said on the Three Fat Nerds podcast is go see it regardless of what we say, because everybody's getting something different out of it.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely a conversational movie.
So it will start conversations if you like it or don't like it. Hashtag not my Joker.
Right. He said that before. I did get asked by Derek on the Three Fat Nerds, which he has to see it. So when he sees it, so by the way, if you guys are interested in hearing a spoiler full review of it, we will be doing it during our ramblings. Which comes usually at the end of our show. We're going to take some time out this upcoming week. Monday late night, when the flagship Three Fat Nerds podcast comes out, we're going to take some time there to do a spoiler full one, because Diesel will have seen it by then. Diesel did ask if the question he asked is, did I think, or actually he asked both me and Ron, did we think that the Joker performance was better from Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix? And my answer, and it wasn't even a cop-out, it's apples and oranges. Because really, he doesn't... Joaquin Phoenix plays a character named Arthur Fleck, and of course Heath Ledger was the Joker. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that is where it is, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Yeah. But by the way, the performance is phenomenal.
Yeah, and off air before we started recording this week, I know you told me, because I asked about it. I asked, what your opinion was, and you said, if you like performances. And one of the things that I look back on is, like, when I think of a performance, I think of Jack Nicholson in The Shining. That's a performance. When I think of performances, I think the greatest one, in my opinion, I've ever seen would probably be Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. Possibly my favorite performance of any actor, male, female, child, adult, that I've ever seen in a movie.
I'm 100% confident in saying that this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime performances like those.
Yeah, definitely got to check it out, though.
And there's a bunch. And I mean, whether you like the movie or not, go for that performance.
Yeah.
Because even people who didn't like the movie, because I've seen people give it real bad scores, and I've seen people give it really amazing scores. Everybody agrees that Joaquin Phoenix was amazing. That's the weird part. Yeah. There is nobody who's denying that. And when you watch this movie, you're watching a person who is mentally ill even in the beginning of the movie, but he goes into this descent of madness gradually that is phenomenal. Like, it is really kind of cool. It's a really cool take. I thought, it was, I said it best, the inspiration for the character came from Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, both Scorsese films, and Scorsese was a producer on this film. And Joaquin Phoenix knocks it out of the park. Like, he takes those two things plus adds himself to it. Plus, he lost like 50 pounds. Oh, yeah. Like, he looked horrible, but it was good for the character. I mean, once again, like I said, if it wasn't for the politics in the movie, I think I would have rated it a lot higher. I didn't need Todd Phillips in his movie to tell me that rich people bad and poor people good. I didn't. Right. I don't need. I just think we stay out of it. And also I didn't like the fact they made Thomas Wayne pretty much a stand-in for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same. Thomas Wayne was never that character like in the comic books. And I know that they didn't stick to the comics, but right. Thomas Wayne was always seen as a great guy. So I don't know why they had to kind of go that route with him. Although the grandfather, but that was the grandfather. Oh, yeah. That wasn't Thomas Wayne. That was the grandfather. But because even in Curse of the White Knight, they're not saying anything bad about Thomas. They're saying it about the grandfather. So where the money started, it's a little dirty, if you will. But Thomas Wayne has always been like this, but it's a great, like, the storyline is good. There is some parts where they go off where they shouldn't, but their storyline is good, and the performance by Joaquin Phoenix, second to none.
Yeah.
Once again, it's still not a Joker though, and the hashtag is not my Joker. It's because he's really not the Joker.
Yeah.
Watch the movie, you'll find out.
Yeah.
But I think even if we gave it a low rating, this is a movie you need to see.
No, it's still worth it to see. Like I can't put that aside. Everybody else is going to walk out of that with something different.
All right.
And I've had conversations with people on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, I loved it." I'm like, and then they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Well, it's not really part of the comic book world," and blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Well, that's why I liked it." I'm like, I'll give you that, but like when everybody says it's so violent, it's like it seemed like they wanted to push the envelope in some spots, but then they backed off.
Gotcha.
Like the beach with Leonardo DiCaprio back in the day. That was a way more violent movie than this movie ever was.
Right.
Like, and that's just my go-to with it, because technically the beach, you could say, was where the Joker became the Joker. If you really wanted if you wanted to start a conspiracy theory of whatever, just to be just throw out a random movie with things that go crazy, because when he's going through the woods hunting people,
right?
Let's be honest. Like,
yeah. Well, we can't say it wasn't a big movie. That's one thing we know. It's been huge. So like it, hate it, somewhere in the middle.
And it's definitely a worthwhile
big bucks, and it's going to make a lot more. So, moving on. The next thing we just wanted to kind of mention real quickly, one thing that we can boast about here in the 607, right here in Binghamton, New York, Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone was from this area. And the Twilight Zone celebrated its 60th anniversary on October 2nd.
That's pretty
Very
awesome.
First episode ever, 60 years.
That is awesome. That's a long, long run.
And it's still revolutionary.
I was going to say, still on television. You can still find it. They play it at big times a year. Of course, Jordan Peele just brought it back and remade it a little bit, which I was a fan of. Being from around here, I guess you don't really think about, the fact of how big Rod Serling really was.
Right.
Because, we see him around here, but then you're just like, oh, he's a local legend. And then you got to get outside and you realize that people all over the world know the Twilight Zone. And, of course, to a lesser extent, Night Gallery. Which was pretty much the just more grown-up version of the Twilight Zone, if you will. I dug both shows, by the way. But I don't know. I find it he was it was cutting edge. It was the anthology show before the anthology show. We were talking about our love for Creepshow on Shudder, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to talk about. Well, don't worry. Next week we will talk about the 2 episodes that we didn't see.
I still haven't seen them yet. So.
I caught half of it, but I knew we had a ton going into the show, so I was like, oh, we'll just catch up. We'll double it up next week. But I feel like there would be no Creepshow.
Be no Creepshow, no Tales from the Dark Side.
No,
there wouldn't be any of those. Yeah, it wouldn't exist without the Twilight Zone.
And, of course, there's a really cool thing coming out. There is a graphic novel that is being put out. I have some information. Bloody Disgusting. I actually found out from Bloody Disgusting about it. If I say the wrong names, I'm sorry. Corinne Shadamis, The Twilight Man, Rod Serling, and the Birth of Television. It goes through, believe it or not, it goes through his career. And it's in comic book form. But it's kind of cool. It kind of takes you through the history of Rod Serling, his growing up, and everything else. It looks like there's a lot of great work done to it. It will hit bookstores on October 8th, so it's out now.
Yeah, and one of my old bosses, who's I've stayed very good friends with over the years, his name is Andy. He's involved in the Rod Serling Foundation. I've asked him to be on the show. He's a busy guy, but we're going to try to get him on. He actually asked me, would you like to get Ann Serling on, which, of course, is Rod's daughter? And I was like, absolutely. So we may eventually be able to get Ann Serling, daughter of Rod Serling, on the show to talk about the Twilight Zone and her father.
By the way, comic book fans, if you don't have a bookstore, it is available in comic book stores on October 9th. So October 8th for the regular stores. October 9th, which is a comic book day, it's Wednesday. Yeah. It will be out. So hopefully
this week?
I'm gonna stop by Soundaround tomorrow when I get to work and see if they have a copy.
Speaking of anniversaries, 45 years ago on October 1st, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre made its premiere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How can you...
One of the greatest horror movies ever made.
I agree. Although I've gone on record, and I know I'll take flack for it, I really dug the 2003 version.
Yeah, me as well.
2003 version was really good.
Definitely one of the best remakes of all time.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of milestones, we should mention that if he was still with us, unfortunately he's not, Donald Pleasance would have turned 100 this past week.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing it. We're doing, 100, pretty good. And I love Donald Pleasance, whether it's in Halloween, whether it was an Escape from New York. No, it was Escape from L.A. No, it was New York. It was New York. It was Escape from New York because Escape from L.A. was the sequel. Sorry.
Prince of Darkness.
I was with Prince of Darkness.
Where a lot of people think that the priest that he played in that was the brother of Loomis.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, a lot of people thought that the Loomis he played was from Psycho.
Yeah,
that is a conspiracy out there. But so we should, rest easy. Wherever you are. Hope you're looking down on us. And hey, your work still lives along today because Halloween and everything else is a big thing, and everybody knows his name. So just want to give a little quick shout out. We're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we are going to have a very special interview. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to The Zone. Earlier on in the show, you heard the great interview that we had with our good friend. We've gotten to be good friends with this guy, literally, over the last year with Courtney Gaines. But, there was a couple other ones that we did. And the next one was an actress who's been in movies such as Mask, which is the Rocky Dennis story. She was in Weird Science. In terms of sci-fi horror, she was in the movie Night of the Creeps with another friend of ours, Jason Lively.
Of course, you forgot Porky's.
And of course, Porky's
a coming-of-age story for me and Ron.
Unfortunately, I did make. You're going to hear in the interview. I believe I told her I've never seen the movie, and I thought that she was going to tear my head off.
You absolutely.
She told me you got to see it.
She told you got to see it. She wasn't going to tear it up. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, no, she really was
She's
cool.
one of the sweetest.
I
human
joke
beings.
when I say that she was going to tear my head. She looked at me like I had 3 heads though when I said that because I'm the only person on the planet that hasn't seen it. I think.
By the way, during our interview, Michael Myers sat next to her.
Yes,
you'll hear that in the interview. We actually kind of mentioned it briefly.
Yeah. There was somebody, and he had the same movements. He walked around like Nick Castle. So
he was taking pictures with the Michael Myers shirts that we were selling.
Yeah, he was. He came over, he touched it, and was like rubbing it and stuff. I got a picture of him with her. I don't know if I don't think we've put it up yet, but it's going to go up. So, but super sweet lady. You're going to hear the things we talked about. I talked about Tom Atkins with her. That was fun. So you're going to hear about that. But we're going to take the time right now to send you over to that interview. So enjoy.
All right. Well, we're still here at Sci-Fi Horror Fest, and we are getting to sit down with Jill Whitlow. She is, of course, the reason she is here is, of course, Night of the Creeps, right? You were in Night of the Creeps at Sci-Fi Horror Fest. I mean, but for myself being I'm 36 now. One of my formative years, I have to thank you.
You're remember a baby.
You. I know. I remember you from of course, Porky's.
Yes.
And of course, Weird Science.
Yes.
I was a big fan of that in the 80s, and of course, Mask.
Yeah.
So I'm very big fan. Once again, I thank you for making that weird awkward transition in any young man's life a little easier.
I hear that so often.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you do. That's why I said.
And you were 5 when you first saw it, right?
No, I was not. No, I was not 5. I was older than 5, but it was a different time. It was a different time.
Yeah.
We were talking. Actually, we talked on our podcast before. My other podcast, one of our podcast names, 3 Fat Nerds. We talked before about movies that you cannot remake again.
Right.
And I don't think you could remake Porky's.
No
not
way.
Not in this day and age.
No.
Which is a shame. Well, I wouldn't want to remake it anyways. I loved the movie. I thought it was great, especially for the time. But even if you could remake it, like now, it would be such an outrage.
It would be. And the originals are always better than the 2s and the 3s.
Oh, yeah.
And they tried to do Porky's 2, and I don't know. I don't even think I saw it.
Unfortunately, I did see it, and it definitely was not as legendary as the first one.
Right.
You can say that like of Caddyshack as well.
Yeah,
Caddyshack 2 is
absolutely.
definitely not Caddyshack 1.
Yeah,
but
no.
I mean, you've been in so much, but once again, a Sci-Fi Horror Fest. The other time we're here because we also do a horror podcast, Horror Zone 607.
And I thank you.
Thank you. And I thank you for being on and talking to us. So I'm going to start off with Night of the Creeps, and then we can go into like my fanboy stuff, okay?
You got it.
So being here, being surrounded by horror fans, sci-fi fans, how has it been hanging out talking about Night of the Creeps? How was it, like, does it take you back to that time period? Is it...
That's why I do these weekends, because first of all, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. And, second of all, it is so much fun to go back in time and relive it all. The filming, the relationships that me and Jason and Steve and Tom, had, and Alan, and, it was just a really great film, and to be able to go back there and share that with the world is just, it makes you feel good. Makes me feel good. I love it.
Yeah. In a couple weeks, we're actually doing Scarecon. Jason Lively will be there. He was there last year. He's awesome.
Sweet.
I love
really
Jason Lively.
How
was it working with Jason Lively?
He's a nut.
I was going to say, by the way, I don't know if you've seen him lately. He is still that way.
Some told me he was kind of a hellion.
Well, we've all remained friends.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah, I see him all the time. I was just with him in Chicago.
Oh, awesome.
A couple weeks ago. And, yeah, he never changes.
He's great. I love Jason Lively, by the way. I just want to point that out. He's amazing.
And there's never a dull moment when I'm with him. And he just has a piece of my heart. Always will.
Hey, it's not a bad person. Like I said, he is amazing.
He's
I love
amazing.
just interacting with. He's one of my highlights of when we're at Scarecon. I look forward to being around him. He's such a great guy.
I do too.
And,
I do too.
He's so much fun. Like he just doesn't. He just is out there and he's a great time. So I can't wait with him. But I just wanted to know. I was sure. I was like, unless you were going to come out and be like, man, he was horrible.
Oh no!
I'd be
way.
I'd be like, when did he change then?
No, Jason is. He's definitely one of the most genuine people I know.
Oh, amazing.
He really is.
Definitely.
And he would give you the shirt off his back at any moment, and he's just a great guy.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I love him to death.
Like I said, I couldn't agree with you more. I've met him a few times, and every time I see him, he's always, "Hey, how you doing?" Like,
I know.
He remembers you, and it's just weird.
Isn't it? It's like impossible not to feel good when you're in his presence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, for myself, I mean, let's be honest, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not somebody who's famous. The fact that, like, he takes the time, he's like, "Oh, I remember when I talked to you," and then he'll remember parts of what we talked about last year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, that's awesome and impressive. I'm so happy it happens. He's a great person.
Yeah, he is.
And I have never heard somebody say anything bad about him. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you had a great experience with him.
Yeah.
What was your favorite takeaway from Night of the Creeps while we're on that?
Oh gosh, my favorite takeaway is most definitely the friendships.
Oh, okay. So the long-lasting part, yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. We know each other's families, and, I took my kids out to Utah and went snow skiing with Steve and his girls and Jason and his boys, and, I love Tom Atkins, and just literally just the friendships that are so real and genuine. It's like family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tom Atkins, what is that guy like? That guy is like one of my heroes.
Oh,
he's just like the 80s king.
I have
of
one
horror.
word. Cool.
Yeah. I've heard that about him. I've heard that about him. I'd
Just
love to meet him
cool.
someday, too.
He's
So-
a cool guy.
He usually ended up naked in all of his movies in the 80s, which we kind of still
He
make
ended
fun
up
of to this day.
naked?
But watch Halloween 3. That's all I can say.
Really?
He was like the king of that back in the day. But,
Oh, my.
so we internally make fun of that.
I don't know
from
if I
time
want to
to
see that or not. I might look at him
Don't
in a
watch
different
Halloween
light.
or The Fog. But,
Oh, how
yeah, no, he
funny.
seems like a cool guy. So.
Yeah, he is. He's, again, another genuine one. I mean,
Yeah.
he really is. He's a sweet guy. And, even though he's a little bit older, he's he's a part of the family. I mean, he gets right in there and just laughs. We just have such a great time. I really can't say enough about
to see
all
he's
of them.
still making movies too. He's actually going to be in a couple of new things coming up that we saw, so it's kind of good to see that he's still
including
doing it.
making his return in Halloween Kills.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming back for that movie.
Yeah, and the Collected.
Yeah.
And the Collected as well.
So
There's a couple horror movies
cool.
coming out for. I'm also a big fan. He is definitely, when I think about him, and you said cool, he's definitely the definition of cool in the 80s.
He
so
really is.
That's kind of cool. But you did point out the fact that the naked, of course, so that would have to bring, that will bring us to Porky's. Like, I mean, there has been no more of a transformative movie that young men have seen than Porky's. I don't know if the youth still watches that movie. I don't know. If they don't, they should. Maybe that's what missing in society these days.
Maybe that's what's wrong with the world today.
That was I feel like that movie was one of the coming of age movies for every young man.
Now, I'm embarrassed to say, I apologize for cutting you off.
That's okay.
I just told Rich, and he was not aware of this right before you came over here. I've never seen Porky's.
Oh my goodness!
I've seen every movie I think ever made.
Well, you got to see Porky's.
I was going to say, give him a pitch. Why should he watch Porky's? I mean, and by the way, this should be in his demographic.
Because it'll change your life.
He is a 40.
I need that.
He is a 41-year-old man. He should have seen this movie.
You should have seen this movie.
My parents wouldn't let me watch anything when I was a kid, so
Well,
I missed out on
was
it.
16 years old when I shot that film.
Yeah.
I was still in high school, and I went to the screening or the premiere with my mom and dad. And my dad walks out of the movie theater and not only announced and then also told all of his friends that I was in the shower scene.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, Dad, no, I was not in the shower scene. Being 16 years old. And
Must have made him feel better knowing that.
Yeah. But that was my dad.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. I mean, I was interviewed by the local newspaper, and it was a huge deal in Miami. Yeah.
Now, there's another movie that I know you were in. I love the movie, but our friend young Derek over here is a big fan of, and that would be the movie Mask.
Oh yeah.
So here, turn it over so you can ask some questions because he's actually a huge fan of the movie. So
ask away.
Go ahead.
What was it like working with Eric Stoltz and Cher and everybody in that movie?
Very interesting. Eric would get to the set hours earlier because he did not want anyone. He's a method actor. He didn't want anyone to see him without his full makeup on. And Peter Bogdanovich was amazing. I adore him. And it's funny because I was originally, up for the blind girl. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Laura Dern, she was great in it. I think it kicked off her career like crazy. But Peter said it probably would have ruined mine.
Oh, really?
Because I was a little too green. It was one of my first gigs when I moved to LA. And but Peter wanted me in the film, which was a huge compliment. So he actually wrote Anne-Marie in.
That's amazing.
For me. So that's a little trivia for you.
It makes me sound like a horrible person, but it's one of my favorite unintentional comedies of all time, too. The scene where he comes in from the baseball game with the little LA Dodgers cap on.
Yeah.
I cannot stop laughing during that scene. I love it. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's heartfelt, but
it is.
There are some unintentionally funny scenes.
Yeah.
I love this movie so
much. I love it too. I do. And I thought that Cher was fantastic in it. And it was great. It was a great movie.
I think the best parts about that with the unintentionally funny scenes that are in it is it does kind of break it from the seriousness of the movie, of course, because you get the real feels at the end of the movie.
Absolutely,
that's a hard crash there.
Yeah, but also being based on a true story, you have to bring those personalities out, and that was just him. I mean, even though he had this, horrible disease and it changed what he looked like to not a normal person, he had fun with it. I mean, he had to. How else can you wake up in the morning and live your day?
Yeah, and leave behind a positive mark on the world.
Absolutely. And I think that that's why the film was made, to show that, it's okay to be different.
So, I got one more question.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a fun one. On our horror show.
Yes.
We are talking all the time because it seems like every week there's a new casting for the new Halloween movies that are coming out.
Yeah.
So every week there's a new casting.
Every day.
Yeah, pretty much. So pretty much, knowing that you have been in a movie with Tom Atkins.
Yeah.
You have also been in a movie with Anthony Michael Hall.
Yes.
Both of them are in Halloween Kills. When are you going to be casted in Halloween Kills?
I don't know.
Can you break that news, or are we petitioning for this now? Because we will petition for this.
Okay, go ahead and petition,
all right.
baby.
Because I'm being serious. Like, you have the connection to all these people, and they're all getting booked in this movie. We need to get you in there.
I know.
Hashtag Jill Kills.
Yes. Hashtag. There it is. There it is. We're going to put that over.
Buddy.
There. Hashtag
Change
Jill
my
Kills.
image
Book
from
Jill.
the girl next door to Killer Jill.
Yeah. Or at least Survivor Girl in the Halloween world.
There you go. I could do that. Or I could be the badass.
Or maybe she dons the mask. You can
And
see
I
Michael
could.
might be other people.
There you go.
Oh.
There it is.
I could be.
Jill Whitlow is Michael Myers.
There we go.
I
See,
could
Michael
be Michael
Myers is behind you right now.
Yeah, I know.
He's giving the thumbs up. He's agreeing with it. He's all about team #kill Jill Kills.
I
There
won't
it is.
kill
Hashtag
you.
Jill Kills. We're gonna try to push it forward, get you in that movie. It'd be great.
All right.
I gotta say, you are a
Please
wonderful
do.
guest, but I need to plug where you're going to be. You're going to be in the Cleveland area coming up here very soon.
I am with Jason Lively.
Yes. Oh, look at that. You can get the 2-for deal there.
Yeah.
Because you will be the Retro Invasion.
Yes.
That is Friday, November 1st through Sunday, November 3rd.
That's correct.
And that is going to be in outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, in Westlake.
Westlake. So
Yes.
Westlake, go ahead and go visit their. Go ahead and search online Retro Invasion. Go meet Jill. She's amazing. She's so awesome. I'm so glad that you stopped by and talked to us. You have made
You're
my
just saying
heart.
that so I don't kill you.
Well, hey, you can't kill us. We came up with the idea.
I know that's true. That's
We
true. Oh
came up with
gosh.
the idea.
You
Don't
can't
kill
trust
me.
Michael Myers.
But Michael Myers is taking pictures and
He's
and all
sitting
sorts
right
of stuff,
next
sitting
to
right
me.
next to you.
My good
This is
old
awesome.
buddy.
This is really happening right now.
He's blowing kisses. It's great. I love it. But
No, the other 364 days a year, I knew he was a swell guy.
yes, the other
See, I should be in the movie. We look good together,
I
don't
agree.
You
I gotta
do.
get a picture of this
We-
live.
yeah, here, hold on. Just take a picture of this, Mike, so
camera out because
we
I
can
don't
so we
know
can
this moment,
so we
but-
can we can get this out there with the hashtag Jill Kills.
We got it.
We're getting
It's a moment in time right
we
there.
are going
folks.
to move forward on this movement. That's
Yes,
for sure.
yes. Start that petition. I'm
But-
game.
We're gonna have you go meet some more people here.
All
You're having
right.
a great time, and you know what?
What?
Once again, from the bottom of my heart,
Aw.
the adolescent teenager in me thanks you so much for being in a masterpiece like that, and so many more. Like I said, we didn't even touch on Weird Science other than the fact that you were in it with Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
and it's such a great, so many great movies.
I've
from-
worked with
from
some
my time.
incredible directors, yes. Yeah. So it was so nice of you to have me on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much, and we look forward to hanging out with you further. And I actually get to do the horror panel with you, so I will be seeing you very
yay.
soon. So,
Well, okay.
So with that, we are going to kick it over to the next segment. You're still listening to.
Bye bye, everybody.
There you go.
Hopefully, see you in Halloween.
Hope you guys liked that great interview we did there with Jill Whitlow. She was very sweet and very funny. I had a good time. And remember, let's get her involved in one of the Halloween movies. Hashtag Jill Kills everywhere.
Yeah, this is a genius movement that we've started here. So, and she would love to do it.
I know. She was all on board. I don't know where I came up with that. I just kind of
Her manager was laughing about it. And everybody was having a good time with
Well,
that.
I think where honestly, if I got to put myself back in time, I think I saw Michael Myers. We had talked about Tom Atkins. We had talked about Anthony Michael Hall. She had been in movies with both of them. I was like, yeah, you need to be in that damn movie. Like, why
even
not?
if she is cast as the knife, she was fine with that.
You came up with the casting with the knife.
She's fine with that. Let's get her in. Hashtag Jill Kills.
Hashtag Jill Kills. Make sure we get her in a Halloween movie. We're going to take another quick break. During this particular break, you are actually going to hear where we're going to be on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of this month as that will end out the Hashtag 607 podcast fall con season. And you'll hear that. When we come back, we have some more horror news for you. So we'll be right back on Horror Zone 607. Join us October 18th, 19th, and 20th in Rochester, New York at the Rochester Riverside Hotel for Scaricon. This year we have a ton of great celebrity guests, including Barbara Crampton, Felissa Rose, Ashley Lawrence, David Naughton, the cast of Terrifier, the 40th anniversary of Phantasm, and of course Pinhead himself. Doug Bradley will all be there, all of them plus so much more. There will also be vendors and all such sorts of other great entertainment going on that weekend in Rochester, New York. For all tickets and other information about Scaricon, go to Scaricon.com, and we'll see you in Rochester on October 18th, 19th, and 20th.
And welcome back to The Zone. It is time for the second half of our horror movie news of the week. So we had some great stories in the first half we were talking about, but as always, there's just so much to talk about, so we've got more things to get into. At this point in the show, this has become one of our recurring themes. It seems like it's a weekly thing that we do. This is a little segment that we like to call Halloween Kills Casting News of the Week. That's right.
I find this to be fitting.
This is fitting. This is really, really nice. This is soothing. I feel relaxed right now. I don't feel full of suspense or angst.
Right there it is.
There it is. Now I'm terrified.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
It got dark real quick.
So we've got, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have Halloween Kills casting news. And no, it's not Jill Whitlow playing Michael Myers' knife.
Hashtag Jill Kills.
Hashtag Jill Kills. Maybe that will happen. But this week, the big casting news of the week, it wasn't one of the bullies that was picking on Tommy Doyle. No, it's not that Annie is going to be coming back. It's not going to be Bob is going to be back. No. This week, we've got the casting that Haddonfield Memorial Hospital is going to be back.
Hey! Well, this comes off the news that we are going to get flashback scenes in Halloween Kills. They're going to flash back to 1978, and they're going to do it periodically, I guess. There's also, speaking of somebody who was a bully in the movie, that it appears that they have somebody, and people are assuming it's Lonnie on the internet.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it really is or not because it hasn't been confirmed. There has been stills taken from the set because obviously that's shooting right now.
I actually saw a video.
Oh yeah, I saw there was a video and then there was stills as well.
Yeah.
One of them pictures a young man laying on the ground and Michael Myers standing above him. The other one pictures just Michael Myers standing there.
Yeah.
The one that has Michael Myers standing there, he's wearing a mask, and the mask looks like the original mask.
Yes.
So the clean, crisp mask. The other picture with the kid lying there, he has no mask on, which is weird. And people are just speculating about maybe it was just a shot where they didn't need the mask, or maybe it's just, for effect. There's a lot of things going on with that.
Well, the thing that I saw on Twitter, there was actually a girl that has posted a whole bunch of the stills on there. It seems to be where most of these things are coming from. She actually had a video. It looked like she was on somebody's front porch, and it was actually a full video, and she said that it's Lonnie running away from the shape, and you see him come running out, kind of like Lori did, comes out of the side of a house, like in between two houses, runs out into the street, and then takes off like a shot, and then a few seconds later, you see Michael come from the same yard, and he kind of stops, does that turn real quick, and starts walking towards where Lonnie went. So there was actually a video of this. So yeah, that's, and she said it was Lonnie in her video.
With those two, the stills that I saw with that video, a lot of people are, obviously we know Lonnie's alive because he has talked about he's the father of one of the actors from,
right, and there was an actor
2000.
cast to play in the movie, so obviously it affected him.
He's alive. So what people are speculating, by the way, is speculation. People are speculating that this is how Michael got arrested. Because remember, in this timeline, Michael gets arrested. So he must have been chasing down Lonnie right after the incidents in the Myers house, and then the cops caught up to him. So I'm assuming that scene, because obviously we don't know anything just from stills, but the scene that where, if you see the picture where it looks like the kid who is being portrayed as Lonnie is on the ground, and he obviously fell, and he's trying to get away from Michael, and Michael's standing above him, which is weird that he doesn't have his mask on, but Michael's standing above him. people are speculating that the reason why Lonnie's alive is because that's where the police must arrest him. And I'm assuming that that's probably the case. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's probably the case because that would make the most sense.
Yeah, and it was a different actor. It was a younger guy that he kind of looked a little bit like the guy that looked like Michael with his mask off in the original one. There was an actor that looked like that was standing there.
Well, they said that because Nick Castle, who is back and is in doing some of the stuff, they said that it would be weird because he's a little bit thicker than when he was younger. So they went with somebody that was more the size of Michael from when Nick Castle was younger, if you will, playing that role. So they went with a different actor. It is kind of weird to see him without the mask on. And like I said, I'm assuming it's just because they didn't need the mask on for the shot. So, I mean, I'm not reading too much into it because I don't think we're going to see him demasked like that, like standing over somebody with no mask on. And this would be before the cops got there because it wasn't like there was a picture where the cops were coming up.
I think it would be a lot better. I've said this right along. He needs to be the Shape again. You don't need to see Michael's face. Let him be what they promised he was supposed to be in 2018's version. Well, he was not the Shape. He was Michael Myers. He was a guy in a mask, front and center, spotlight on him. It should have been like it was in the original movie where it's over the shoulder or his legs or, I feel like that would have been creepier. That's what made the original one so creepy.
Regardless if it's you or other people were upset that they showed too much of Michael's face into the 2018 version. And I mean, really, they only showed bits and pieces, but people were like, that was too much. Yeah. And I get it. I get it. I wasn't crucifying for that, but this would be really weird if they do show a whole shot without a mask. Once again, like I said, I'm just assuming that he was just standing there. They were probably shooting him from the neck down anyways.
Right.
So they're like, might as well not have the mask on.
Right.
That's just my take on it. We'll find out. And once again, the speculation about that being, I mean, pretty much people are saying it's Lonnie, but it's still speculation until we know otherwise.
Right.
And the other part of that is the arresting.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the most sense, though, because obviously Lonnie has to live. And in that picture, he looks very like he's on the ground. Michael's standing above him. If the cops or something doesn't intervene, he's dead. Let's be honest.
Well, I dig the logo, by the way, of the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. It's the same one from Halloween 2, which doesn't exist now. So I like that they kept that, and it's a different building, obviously, that they're using. But the building that they used for the one in Halloween 2, by the way, was the same one that they used as the asylum in the Rob Zombie movies. It was the same one in both ones. I thought that was kind of cool. I wish that they would have filmed it there again, although it looks quite different than it did back then.
Well, I think that's why they didn't. The only part that I'm weirded out by doing it there is if it's going to be in the flashback scene, which it appears to be because they're dressing it up that way. Like, if Michael gets arrested or whatnot and Halloween 2 is out the window anyways, I don't know the point of it, but we'll find out. I guess there's
it
looks
looks
something.
like there was a scene that I saw, I think it was today, of Jamie Lee Curtis, actually. It looks like she's getting off, she's covered in blood, and she's getting off the back of the truck that she was riding away in at the end of the 2018 movie. So maybe they're on their way to the hospital, maybe they're banged up and they're on their way there. I don't know. But it was like along with the pictures of the hospital. So
right, but I think that would be weird to have the hospital look the same all these years later. But then it would be a cool throwback. And
our hospitals here look the same as they did 20 years or 40 years ago.
I mean, they have new lights and stuff on the side, not the same logos.
Yeah,
I agree with you for the most part, but they don't have the same logos and stuff.
Right.
I would be all for it because that would be a cool way to tie in to, because then Michael shows up at the hospital in present time. So that'd be good with me. I'm all for it.
Well, thus concludes this week's edition of Halloween Kills casting.
Hey, gotta bring back in the creepy
Absolutely. Music. I feel nostalgia everywhere. I got chills right now. And it's not just because it's cooler out. All right, next up on the list, Jack Nicholson's axe from The Shining just sold over the weekend for $200,000 at an auction. Other horror movie props also sold for big bucks at this thing, but pretty cool.
But when that axe was sold to our good friend over at the ODPH, Ken Moneybags.
Yeah.
Ken M is known as Ken Moneybags ever since he took ownership of Excite Wrestling. So we've been talking about that for a while on Three Fat Nerds. It's a joke, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm looking at you like...
I wish I was...
I hope that you're serious. But...
I have to break the wall down. It is a joke.
Sure it is.
It is. It's so
attaboy, Ken.
So, big shout out to our friends, the ODPH. Check them out this week because they're talking about their adventures in New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
So, cheap plug for
they
them.
had a blast. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is it was announced that, I should say finally, because it seems like every year we have one of these things coming out anymore, but Tremors 7 begins filming next month.
every year we have a rumor of one coming out, and it just never comes to fruition.
Well, they've made like 5 of them in the last couple of years, it seems like.
Well, no, there's been a gap between the last one and this one. There's been
a couple of years.
But there's it's more. I think
didn't the last one take place in the snow or something?
But I think that they said that the last one was
3 years ago.
No, I think it was like 5.
You're going to make me look it up. You're going to make me look this up.
You're going to have to look this up. Look up Tremors 6, Ron. So Ron's looking up Tremors 6.
Didn't seem like it was that long ago.
It's got the same, by the way.
I know one was a prequel, but it was the same actor.
That was, I think, the 3rd or the 4th one.
The best part about it is it's the same movie over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest.
They just come up with new names of the things.
And then occasionally they come out of ground and walk around, which is weird.
Yeah.
I got
they shoot fireballs out of their
that.
butts at one point.
Yeah, it's kind of there's some strange stuff going on.
Yeah.
In the world of Tremors.
The world of Tremors, it just continues on. I really wish that we would have gotten the sci-fi series that was going to bring Kevin Bacon back. That's... I would have liked to have seen that. I was excited for
all
that.
the bacon all the time.
Yeah.
Bacon month on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, last year, 2018, Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't that long ago.
What
and they almost filmed that.
What was the gap between the 5th and 6th one?
The new sequel finds Burt Gummer, who's dying from garboid poison, and his son...
graboid poison.
And his son, Travis, at a remote research station in Canada's... Novova territory, where they must go against a new batch of Garbobas to save Bert's life.
Oh, sounds interesting. I'm sorry I missed out on that one.
And so then number 5 was 2015.
Okay,
which
so there
was
the
Bloodlines.
Yeah, see, I missed.
You might not have realized there was the one in Canada.
I missed the whole movie.
The giant man-eating Gorboids are back and even deadlier than before, terrorizing the inhabitants of the South African Wildlife Reserve as they attack from below and above.
Wow. Sounds epic. Actually, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but another movie that's going to be coming out, or is going to start going into production pretty soon, is the remake. We've talked about it previously, but the remake or the next movie, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, for Wrong Turn.
Oh, yeah.
And Matthew Modine's going to be
That's
in it.
what I was going to say.
Is it Modine? Modine?
I think it's Modine. I always say Modine. It could be Modine. I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. That was an intriguing news that came out. We knew it was coming about, but then they signed a pretty big, he's pretty, I mean, I wouldn't say big name actor, but he's a pretty respected actor.
Oh, yeah. He was a big 80s actor.
Yeah, but I mean, since then, I would say more respected. I mean, it's not like they signed Brad
Season
Pitt.
1 of Stranger Things, he was great in that.
He was definitely
very sinister.
I'm pretty sure that's how he got the gig.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So that's coming soon. It sounds like there's some new names for the hillbillies in this one. It's not going to be Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye, I think was the other one's name. So there's some other ones that are going to be in there. So that's kind of cool.
Hashtag not my wrong turn then.
Yes, exactly. There was some New York Comic-Con news that came out, or some news, I should say, that came out of that. The first trailer for this new Walking Dead spinoff hit. It still doesn't have a name as far as I know. It is going to be coming out in the spring of 2020, but I got to say, for not being a fan of that series, I tried to watch a couple episodes of the original series. I've never watched a single second of Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know anything about it, but I got to say that the trailer for this new one, I don't know, I somehow... I felt some sort of a connection to that. It was like a kid's coming of age type thing. To me, it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, they're calling them what was it? The Endlings.
Endlings.
Yes, they're calling them the Endlings.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it's like further on in the post-apocalyptic world that is the zombie apocalypse. It's intriguing, but I'm so far zombie stuff is with the exception of Zombieland Double Tap, but that's just for pure entertainment alone.
Yeah.
I feel like the zombie craze is coming to an end. I really do.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way.
The only reason Double Tap is a thing, but once again, because I'm a Zombieland fan, is because A, the first movie was so good. B, the entire cast has come back.
Yeah.
And C, it's a comedy. And comedies,
different.
It's a little different.
That movie's gonna make big money.
Oh, it's gonna. I'm definitely going to see it. It looks tremendous. We saw the Red Band trailer before Joker.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Oh yeah.
It was a really good one. So if you look for the Red Band trailer for Zombieland Double Tap,
and Bill Murray is going to be back.
Oh,
he's in the trailer.
He's in the trailer. He starts off with him in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's going to be interesting to see how they put that in. I have a feeling that's going to be a flashback, or like a news clip or something. But thank God he's going to be back.
I just want to. I know you have more news, Mike, but I want to throw this in there because this is something I just found out. There is a movie streaming on Shudder now that we need to watch.
Yeah,
because it's an Australian horror movie.
Remember
Remember what else was an Australian horror movie?
Yeah, I do.
That was Bore. Not Bore. BOAR board. That's right. We found that entertaining. It wasn't great, but it was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
And it did have what's his name in it? From WWE fame.
Nate Jones.
Nate Jones was in it.
Yeah.
And he was great. He wrestled that big ass.
And Bill
board.
Moseley. The great Bill Moseley was in that, too.
Bill Moseley was also in it. This movie is called The Furies. So I feel like we should make Diesel watch it. It's an Australian slasher. It's currently on Shudder. It's what it sounds like. It's basically, we were just talking about Wrong Turn. I mean, look at this picture. Do you think Diesel would watch this?
Sure.
It looks like somebody wearing somebody else's body.
Oh, absolutely, he'd watch that.
Like I guess it's furries in a way that these people like to dress up in the skins of other people and slash people and kill them. And there's another one where somebody's getting their face cut off with an axe.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at
She doesn't
pictures.
look like she's comfortable.
I do want to say that, I mean, this is not horrible because I guess Bloody Disgusting gave it 2.5 skulls out of 5. So that's right down the middle.
And it's
That's pretty
available
all right.
now, correct?
It's available now on Shudder. So me and you will have to watch this
Absolutely.
movie. Maybe we'll get together, have a cup of hot cocoa. And
Some hot cider, maybe? I'm a big fan of hot cider.
I mean,
put some cinnamon sticks in it.
This is
I like to be hot and cider too.
Oh, absolutely, buddy.
I'm with you. We can do hot cider with cinnamon. Whatever. We can do whatever. This is my weekend. This is my only weekend off.
Yeah?
Because I have Scarecon the weekend after. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll get together. I'll go over and we'll watch Australian
Maybe Friday
horror
night,
movies.
or actually, I think I've got this Saturday. I got plans. I'm going to
we
Reaper's
can
Revenge.
we can do a Friday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday. Neither of our football teams are going to win, so we'll be all right.
That's right. Friday night.
Actually, my football team did win.
The Blacklist started again that last week, and I didn't get a chance to see it yet, so. The girlfriend and I are going to be having a Blacklist night, I believe, on Friday night. But she's unreliable. I may not hear from her at all.
Well, you know what? If that's the case, Mike, maybe I'll come over on Sunday.
We can cuddle all day, buddy.
And we'll watch Australian horror movies.
My couch is comfortable enough for everybody.
Can I sleep over?
You in?
Come on
Can
over.
I sleep over?
You're never sleeping in my house. Oh my God! We should upload I took a video. I didn't tell you this. I actually put on my camera and videotaped you snoring at one point.
I'm not surprised.
I was going to send it to my girlfriend, so just for a laugh. But I haven't done it yet. So maybe we can get that up on as part of the podcast. Or maybe that'll be one of our sound effects going forward.
Oh, it could be.
All right, so that's actually all the news that I do have for this week. We are going to take another break real quick, but when we do come back, you're actually going to be hearing the main event of them all, the best of the three. I shouldn't say the best.
Wow.
I shouldn't say the best.
But I'm gonna let Courtney Gaines know. I do still have his number.
Yeah, maybe you should do that. That was a I misspoke when I said that. But my favorite interview of the day was with the great Dustin Pari, who of course is from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. So as soon as we come back, you're going to be hearing that interview.
Hey, this is Dustin Pari from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, and you listen to Horror Zone 607.
And welcome back to Horror Zone 607. We are at the Oneonta Foothills Performing Arts Center, hanging out with a special guest right now. We've got, you know him from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. He gave a great speech yesterday, and he's just a heck of a nice guy. We are sitting here with Dustin Pari.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me here. Good to be here with y'all.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. So you gave a great speech yesterday.
Thank you.
Obviously, like I said, we know you from Ghost Hunters and everything, but tell us a little bit about, some of your speaking engagements and some of the things you like to do with that.
Yeah, I've been very blessed to have had so many opportunities that have come forth because of the show and everything. And, I stay very busy. We did 52 presentations last year, and we're going to be in the high 40s this year. And I try to spin, some spiritual tales and a lot of ghost stories. People like that kind of stuff, but I always try to put in some motivational things and some bigger picture things in there as well for everybody. So it always means a lot to me. People come up after, they're like, I came here for the ghost story stuff, but I got something I really needed out of that. So I try to give something for everybody.
Right, and I know that's how we felt walking out of there. Our buddy Derek, who's not on this show, but he was floating around kind of, was watching it with me, and we were both like, wow.
Yeah, Derek is
great
scared.
Stories.
Derek is scared of his own shadow.
Oh, really?
He's on the Three Fatners podcast. It's one of my other podcasts. He is literally terrified of his own shadow, which is kind of funny that we bring him to things like Sci-Fi Horror Fest and other things we do.
You guys are good friends.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm surprised he was in there watching it because he's skittish about that stuff.
Well, he's terrified of clowns, and 2 weeks from now we'll be at Scarecon, and Art the Clown will be in full get-up, and
nice.
we were going to have his picture taken with him.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So that's going to be fun.
You're going to face your fears at some
Oh
point.
yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to do it a little bit more than the rest of us, I think. So there he is now. We were talking a little bit last night. I got a chance to talk to you for, I don't know, a good like 15, 20 minutes. And, I know we were talking about the St. Augustine Lighthouse. And I know you mentioned in your speech that you did yesterday how it was one of your more favorite places to be. Kind of tell us, a little bit more about the things that you saw when you were there. That was interesting.
Yeah, St. Augustine Lighthouse is great because the area itself in St. Augustine was, originally settled by the Spanish, like prior to colonization of America. And so it was really cool because, everyone knows that we had this great shadow figure that leaned over a rail when we were there. We had video of it. Brian and I were on the stairwell up top. We got to see this woman walking around. But a lot of times since I've gone back there, we don't see those things anymore. But we get a lot of EVPs and disembodied voices in Spanish around the base of the lighthouse and some weird things out in the forest there. So that was the first place I ever seen a full body apparition since the shadow figure that got me into this as a kid. So it really meant a lot to me because at the time I'd spent years looking for this stuff and not sure if what I saw as a kid was real or not, because you start to doubt it the further away you get. So then to see that woman walking around really kind of brought it back home and brought me a lot of peace.
Right. Any questions for him?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this is kind of interesting. For me, I'm a little more of a skeptic. I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, it's all bullshit and like everybody's into the liar, because I don't think so. You're a very nice guy, anyways. But what do you say to people who are maybe skeptic of it, have not seen any of this on their own, and to kind of let them know how it's real at least?
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I think that it's good to have a healthy skepticism about all of this stuff. And even myself have been. For 27 years I've been looking into this, and some stories that I get presented or some stuff that I see on some of the shows, I look at it, I'm like, that's complete nonsense. And I've done it long enough where I know it's usually very subtle stuff. Sometimes you get big things that happen, but not as common as a lot of people think. But I feel like it's something like you just have to experience for yourself. Like it's like somebody asking you like, do you love whatever? Do you like avocado toast? If you've never had it, you can't say if you like it or if you don't like it because you've never had it. So it's a spiritual thing. It's a paranormal thing. It doesn't happen all the time. So until it happens to you, you can't really say that one way or another if you truly believe in it. You may want to believe in it or you may want to not, but. And I always respect anybody's opinion on this thing. The only thing I don't like is when people get hateful about it. It's like, even like I'm a Christian and stuff, and I don't try to baptize anybody. As long as you're living your life in a positive way, I think it's good. But like sometimes for people that get like angry atheists, like, would you spend all day standing at your closet door screaming into it that you don't believe in the boogeyman if you truly don't believe? You know?
Right.
Like, just let other people do their thing. As long as they're being loving and kind, like, it's totally cool.
I definitely can relate to that. I also am a Christian that doesn't go out there and try to baptize everybody, but I do understand that conception, because you hear the people out there that do that. So it's kind of like it was definitely a good example for me. I do want to pick up on something you did say. When you hear other people do stuff that is absolutely garbage and nonsense, do you feel that hurts the cause that you're doing the real research that you are actually doing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the nice thing about the shows from when they first started was they made it more comfortable for people that have had experiences to come forward and talk about them and not feel like they're alone in this or they're crazy. But the other edge of that sword is there's a lot of nonsense that goes with it. It's television. Some of it's made to be hyped up, either by the investigators or by the production companies. And not all shows are like this, and not everybody's like that. And I get that it has to be entertaining and stuff, but I think there's ways to make it entertaining where it's thought-provoking or it's driven by personality rather than trying to create something that's not there at that time, And paranormal stuff, because a lot of times it's not there and you can't interact with it, or they don't want to interact with you. So you got to just, you got to have a storyline that still brings you through, but it's not easy. And I always just feel like, for me personally, I don't like to go out and like badmouth anybody publicly, because it says more about me as a person than I think it ever does them. But I just, people like different shows, they like different things. That's fine. Like, there's plenty of room for everybody in all of this. People that want to be just entertained and people that are looking for a more thoughtful approach to it.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we're also big proponents of not bad-mouthing anybody. Well, unless it's AEW wrestling for Derek. But outside of that, we're big proponents of not bad-mouthing anybody, because it doesn't do you any good. But yeah, I mean, I can see how that works. I mean, like I said, I get sometimes with my faith, I get upset when you hear all these people spewing nonsense on the internet, and it makes you look bad. And you're like, So I can understand completely, like something especially that you dedicate your life to, that you actually research and you're actually doing really cool things, and somebody out there kind of, makes it so somebody might not believe what you're doing because what they're doing is, not exactly on the up and up. So
I really think the reason that this whole field has not gone as far as it could have gone is because it is always this kind of like ebb and flow with it, and people get really interested in it. Historically, there's a big boost in it, and like the spiritualist movement and everything. And then like some people get obviously outed as complete fakers in it, and then a lot of people that were on the fence kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, oh, this is all nonsense then. And it's like, well, no, it's not. It's just these couple of people were nonsensical. Just like with religion, you have your extremists that make the whole thing look bad. It's like, oh my God, please put down the banner that you're a Christian because you're making us all look crazy. But that's what some people do with all different faiths, and I just personally believe all are one. Everybody needs to just work and operate and love in this life, and sooner we can get to that, the better it'll be. But there's just so many people that just don't want to play ball, I guess.
Well, we don't want to take up too much more of your time. You've been a popular guy here at this show. Everybody wants to kind of come and hang out with you. But did you have any other shows coming up you'd like people to, come see you at?
Yeah, if anybody wants to check things out, I've got like a bunch of appearances coming up here in New England. I'm going to be over in Kansas. I'm going to be in Oklahoma. All my stuff is at DustinPari.com. It's really easy to check out. And then if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's just youtube.com/DustinPari. I made 60 motivational videos on there called Hey, Got a Minute? They're all 2 to 3 minutes long because we live very busy lives. And it's not like the usual like rah, you can do it nonsense. It's like weird, thoughtful little things about like music lyrics and stuff that I think are inspiring, but I dress up like Elvis, I dress up like the Beatles. It's a lot of fun, so I think it's worth checking out. It's called Hey, Got a Minute, and it's on YouTube.
That's awesome. I got to say, you've been a super awesome guy. I've seen you interacting with everybody.
Thank you.
I'm glad that we could have you on and take this minute of your time. And I'm definitely interested. I'm going to be checking out your stuff later today, and I'll definitely check out your YouTube channel. It's always nice to have some inspirational stuff going through some stuff, man. But so also you have books available and all sorts of other stuff for people. You can get them on your website as well.
Yeah, everything's on the website. All links up to Amazon and everything. And I appreciate all my readers.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Dustin, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure having you here, and we look forward to seeing more stuff that you've got coming out here soon.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
All right. Welcome back. So we hope you enjoyed the interview with Dustin Pari there. Again, he was sitting right next to us this weekend, and we had a blast hanging out with him. Just super, super nice guy. Dustin, if you do listen to this, thank you so much for taking the time to do the interview with us. And, same with Jill Whitlow and Courtney Gaines. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know, you guys were popular. People came to see you, and it really meant a lot to us that you guys did the interviews with us and spent some time with us. You're great guys and great people, and, we're so happy to have had you on the show.
Absolutely. Big respect to all of them for coming on, making the time for us, which I was very happy with, and even taking a lot more time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought I was going to give them just short interviews, and all of them were like, come on, keep going. I'm like, all right. So.
I just find it funny whenever Courtney got bored, he just kind of came over to the table.
Yeah, he started becoming, he was our con friend.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent a lot of time with him. I mean,
yeah, we did.
I mean, 3 hours in Cooperstown.
We were really the only people he knew there, so he got to know us pretty intimately. So
it was kind of fun. I was gladly. I do have autographed ticket stub from Cooperstown.
Yeah, you do.
Not because I even want an autograph. I just was like, I told him, I was like, I just want to remember that moment. He's like, I can't say no to that now. And signed it. It's kind of funny. So, I mean, we're going to hang up one of the posters from the event. And I'm going to put that ticket stub right here in the studio because it was a cool time. We had a great time, and can't wait for next year. But with that being said, we have just some random, our normal announcements here. Once again, if you could like us on Facebook. I almost said our other podcast. If you would like us on Facebook, Horror Zone 607, go ahead and like that page, share that page, rate and review the page. Help us out. Help that algorithm out so we can get more and more listeners because, we're making that push. We're coming into year 2 and we want to come in hotter than ever. So help us with that. Also, follow us on Twitter at HorrorZone607 for all of the social medias. Use the hashtag HZ607 to join the conversation. We do want to conversate with you guys. If you want to talk about anything we talk about on the podcast, any of our podcasts, this one or any other one, or if you want to bring something up, do you want to hear us talk about a movie? Do you want to hear us rant and rave about whatever? Give us a shout out. We'll be more than happy to do it. Once again, the offer's been out there and nobody has taken it. Our good friend Luke has said that if anybody wants to pitch a bad movie for him to watch, any bad movie that's out there that he can watch, he will watch and review it for you. I mean, nobody's taken up on the offer. Somebody please take this man up on his offer. Because I would like to... Pretty soon I'm going to pitch it to him. That's what I was going to say. Pretty soon we're going to start disguising ourselves as other people just to get this done. I mean, come on, guys. Help us make him watch bad movies. You might be surprised. He might like the bad movie, though. So you never know.
He does. He likes... The worse it is, the better he likes it.
So maybe you can make him watch Killer Sofa.
Oh yeah! I'm sure that's his cup of tea right there.
Did he already watch Deathbed, The Bed That Kills?
Oh, I bought it for him for his birthday years ago. Are you kidding me?
How about The Ginger Dead Man?
We watched the third one together.
Oh.
I don't know that he's ever seen the first two. My girlfriend bought me one of those collections that has like 50 horror movies on it. And we used to go in downtown Binghamton. There's a place called the Bundy Museum, and for a while on Thursday nights they were having a thing called Cult Movie Night, where they would have beer there, they'd have popcorn. Our good friends from Muckles Inc. would be there designing like posters and stuff that were based on the movie that was showing. And that went away because kids started showing up and taking the free beer and ruined everything. So we just kind of kept it going for a while afterwards, and that was my choice for Cult Movie Night. So it was a Ginger Dead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver. We have seen that movie.
It's a tough one.
You know what the worst part is? This is the second time today I've talked about that movie. That's I need a life.
Yeah, Yeah, at least you didn't have to talk about Freddy's Dead this week.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I thought he forgot. Thought he forgot.
Got it in there. I always get in there. By the way, also visit 8122productions.com. Oh, hi-oh. Well, if you believe that story that Courtney Gaines was talking to telling about one of us at this table here, I'm just saying.
I was too busy eating Chinese food, so I didn't hear this.
So 8122productions.com. Visit the website. Mike C has some reviews there. You can visit the Horror Zone section. We're adding more stuff. I'll be adding pictures and stuff from this past weekend up there. You can also get all the information you need for ScareCon. Go ahead and visit our friends of the show. That's where you can find the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, the ODPH. They're in there. You click on that. It'll take you right to their website. Give you all the information you need for them, and also the sponsors of the show and everything else. So 8122productions.com for all things Horror Zone 607 and 8122 Productions. That's all I got, Mike.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. All right. So just a quick preview coming up this month. Again, it's October. It's Halloween month. It's horror movie month. So that we like to always have a segment on this show that's called Talking Horror. And I kind of thought, after last week's episode, Rich and I kind of were throwing some things off the wall off air. And I said, do you think we should talk about the Halloween? Maybe have an episode where we don't do any news. We don't do anything. We just talk about the Halloween franchise. And he goes, there's too many of them. Maybe we should split them up. And the other day I had an epiphany. Thanks to you. And, I kind of came up with, there's 3 weeks left that we're going to be recording in the month of October. And for our Talking Horror segments coming up, it's going to be a three-piece, like a three-part Halloween retrospective, I guess we can call it. And the first one, I'm going to be putting some movies together from the series, and I'm going to call this segment Forgotten Halloween. You'll see what we're going to talk about when we get to that. The second one, 2 weeks from now, we're going to do a segment that we're going to call Hated Halloween. And then the week of Halloween, the last week, I decided, we're going to talk about the ones in the series that I really, really love. The few of them that people love. Not just me, but the people out there, all of you listeners love. And we're going to call that one Good Scare. So 3-part series coming up throughout the rest of this month, talking about the Halloween series in full. And we're really going to dig into those as we get going.
So week 3, we're talking about Halloween 2018, right?
That probably will be on there because I know most people love it. It pains me to say it. As far as I'm concerned, that belongs in Hated Halloween. But
I was wondering if we were going by your list or everybody's.
I have
list.
to keep it honest. I have to be honest about it, and I know how much people love that movie.
On my list, 2018's in the middle of the road, so it's not like on the high end. So it's not bad, but it's not great.
But it's a beloved movie in that series
for other people. So
I know. I don't get it. 0.5 out of 10. You get Freddy's Dead in our show every week. 0.5 out of 10 is what's going to come up every week as far as I'm concerned.
I was going to say, Freddy's Dead is better than 0.5.
Yeah, that was at least a 0.6 out of 10.
Exactly.
At least.
If
It
not,
had Roseanne and Tom Arnold in
I
it.
give it a 1 just for all the cameos.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Your hatred for that movie is like my hatred for John Wick.
Yes,
John Wick just sucks.
it's legendary.
Wow, we are just tying everything in today.
Our
It's
pain is
wonderful.
legendary, buddy.
It's wonderful. We've just tied everything in, and all the loose ends have come in the last 3 minutes of the podcast. I love it.
All right, well, that is the show for this week. I just want to thank our guests once again for the amazing interviews and the time you took out to speak with us this week. So thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Dustin. You guys were fantastic. Hope we run into you guys again in the future and definitely talk with you again. We consider you a part of the family at this point, having been a part of the con and hanging out with us. So thank you. I want to thank you guys, the listeners, week in and week out for tuning in to listen to us and all of our shenanigans here. We hope you'll tune in again next week. For Ron, for Rich, I'm Mike C saying, see ya.